Welcome back to The Lead. We're continuing with our coverage of the shootings in Ottawa. Here is some coverage of President Obama talking with the new Ebola czar. Let's listen in.
Obviously, the situation there is tragic. Just 2 days ago, a Canadian soldier had been killed in an attack. We now know that another young man was killed today, and I expressed on behalf of the American people our condolences to the family and to the Canadian people as a whole. We don't yet have all the information about what motivated the shooting. We don't yet have all the information about whether this was part of a broader network or plan, or whether this was an individual or a series of individuals who decided to take these actions. But it emphasizes the degree to which we have to remain vigilant when it comes to dealing with these kinds of acts of senseless violence or terrorism. And I pledged, as always, to make sure that our national security teams are coordinating very closely, given not only is Canada one of our closest allies in the world, but there are our neighbors and our friends. And obviously, there's a lot of interaction between Canadians and the United States, where we have such a long border. And it's very important, I think, for us to recognize that when it comes to dealing with terrorist activity, that Canada and the United States has to be entirely in sync. We have in the past. I'm confident we will continue to do so in the future. And Prime Minister Harper was very appreciative of the expressions of concern by the American people. I had a chance to travel to the Parliament in Ottawa. I'm very familiar with that area, and am reminded of how warmly I was received and how wonderful the people there were. And so obviously we're all shaken by it, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we're standing side by side with Canada during this difficult time. Thank you. Well, we don't have enough information yet. So as we understand better exactly what happened, this obviously is something that we'll make sure to factor in the ongoing efforts that we have to counter terrorist attacks in our country. Every single day we have a whole lot of really smart, really dedicated, really hard-working people, including a couple in this room, who are monitoring risks and making sure that we're doing everything we need to do to protect the American people. And they don't get a lot of fanfare. They don't get a lot of attention. There are a lot of possible threats that are foiled or disrupted that don't always get reported on. And the work of our military, our intelligence teams, the Central Intelligence Agency, the intelligence community more broadly, our local law enforcement and state law enforcement officials who coordinate closely with us. We owe them all a great deal of thanks. All right? Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Likewise, our thoughts and prayers remain also with the family and friends of Warrant Officer Patrice Vincent, who was killed earlier this week by an ISIL-inspired terrorist. Tonight, we also pray for the speedy recovery of the others injured in these despicable attacks. Fellow Canadians, we've also been reminded today of the compassionate and courageous nature of so many Canadians, like those private citizens and first responders who came to provide aid to Corporal Cirillo as he fought for his life. And of course, the members of our security forces in the RCMP, the City of Ottawa Police, and in Parliament, who came quickly and at great risk to themselves to assist those of us who were close to the attack. Fellow Canadians, in the days to come, we will learn more about the terrorist and any accomplices he may have had. But this week's events are a grim reminder that Canada is not immune to the types of terrorist attacks we have seen elsewhere around the world. We are also reminded that attacks on our security personnel and on our institutions of governance are, by their very nature, attacks on our country, on our values, on our society, on us Canadians, as a free and democratic people who embrace human dignity for all. But let there be no misunderstanding. We will not be intimidated. Canada will never be intimidated. In fact, this will lead us to strengthen our resolve and redouble our efforts, and those of our national security agencies, to take all necessary steps to identify and counter threats and keep Canada safe here at home. Just as it will lead us to strengthen our resolve and redouble our efforts to work with our allies around the world and fight against the terrorist organizations who brutalize those in other countries with the hope of bringing their savagery to our shores. They will have no safe haven. Well, today has been, without question, a difficult day. I have every confidence that Canadians will pull together with the kind of firm solidarity that has seen our country through many challenges. Together, we will remain vigilant against those at home or abroad who wish to harm us. For now, Lorraine and Ben and Rachel and I join all Canadians in praying for those touched by today's attack. May God bless them and keep our land glorious and free.